I'm Neil Rogers, and we bought this property north of Toowoomba in the Djuan area. It's 1,250 acres. We purchased it in 2014. It was predominantly cultivation. The previous owners did a lot of cropping here. We're trying to take it back to improve pastures. So we started a tree planting program, which we started about 8 years ago, and we just do small lots of tree planting at the moment. We run about 200 head of Black Angus cattle here, just predominantly for breeding program, and we sell the weaners each year roughly at about 300 kilos. This is the first lot of planting here. Each year we try and do about 100 trees. Ones behind you, they'd be about 6 years old. These ones here, they were planted about 4 years ago, and then when we go down to along the road there, just on the other side of the dam, we've planted 300 this year, and we did a larger amount this year really because the season was going to be so good. So it all sort of hinges on the season, and so we thought it was excellent this year. So we've done an extensive row along the road, and we're hoping that that'll encourage koalas and birds and wildlife. These are about 6 years ago. These seedlings came from the Mole Creek Station nursery down in Tenterfield, and that's where we've been sourcing pretty much all of our gums from, and they seem to be doing well. Predominantly grey and blue gums, and there'll be some other types of eucalypt as well, but predominantly grey and blues. Yes, we would have had guards on these originally, and then as they've matured, and the guards have disintegrated and the rest of it. But the guards would have been on there for 2 years until they were that little bit more established, because we do have trouble with rabbits and hares. When it was dry, we were watering them once a week. So we had a 1,000 litre pot on the back of a ute, and my wife would be driving the ute and I'd be walking behind just gravity feeding. So it was a lot of work to begin with, but they're established enough now that they don't need any watering. And these smaller ones here that are 4 year olds, we're hoping that they'll be established enough that they won't need watering. So when it does become dry, it'll only really be the ones that we've planted down along the road. So occasionally we do get a tree that dies unexpectedly for some reason, and we do replace them. So those two little trees with the guard still on them will actually be not planted 4 years ago. They're actually a little bit younger, and we do lose when we plant in this sort of numbers. Not every tree survives. We will mulch them usually once a year, and this year we've been a little bit busier than normal, so I haven't got back to them. But no, we will mulch most trees. Once they get a little bit more established, we might not mulch around them, but while they're in those early years, we will mulch them, yes. Pretty much just the 6 metres apart, 2 rows, and they're about 4 metres apart the other way. But no, we just have a small ride-on mower, so we can get around them easy enough. I was actually inspired a trip to New Zealand many years ago, and over there it's very popular to have tree-lined roads and fence lines. So that was one of the things I thought I'd bring back to Australia, and just to beautify it, actually, to plant tree-lined roads and fence lines. I just think it looks spectacular if it's nice and clean. So once the trees are actually established enough, so over here where they're bigger again, cattle could be introduced back here if I had it segregated off, because they won't damage the trees. These little ones at the moment, they're a little bit too fragile. Cattle get in here, they'll actually rub against them and start breaking the branches off. The season has been very generous, so we've had lots of rain this year. That's what's made it look spectacular at the moment. But no, everything thrives with a bit of rain. It's beautiful. Well, this is our latest planting exercise, and so in about October, I came down and we slashed all this because there were cattle in this paddock, and then strip ploughed it. So we wanted the same effect where the tree line was going to go down along the road, and predominantly for shade and wildlife habitat. Because it was actually so clay down here, it was so dry that we actually had to bring some topsoil in and put half a dozen shovelfuls of topsoil where each plant is. And then we purchased the plants and started planting them. and it's rained since then. So, well, in terms of ripping the line here, we had to slash it all first, and then with a single tine ripper, just run in a straight line straight through, predominantly to catch as much moisture as we could when it does rain, rather than trying to do a post hole boring individual one for each plant. So this is a lot simpler, and it was a lot quicker to do it this way. That'd be about 12 to 14 inches of, so 300 or 400 mil of ripping. Yeah, it is quite clay soil. These are chinchilla white gums, most of these here. So we thought we would change it up a little bit from the other eucalypts, but these are a very big tree and nice and shady, and predominantly that's what we're after. More shade for the cattle in where it's exposed. Yeah. Well, the fence line went up the same time we did the furrowing, so just standard electric fence just to keep the cattle out, because inevitably they will want to come in here and graze and knock the trees around and the guards around. Yeah, 2 lines are enough. We've done one lot of clean-up slashing, and it needs doing again, but we'll just keep on top of it, and just so we can actually find the trees before the grass overgrows them. But no, it doesn't take that long to hop in and whippersnip around them and slash around them, and we'll just keep doing that until they're a little bit more established.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the furrow compared to the auger. Up the top you've done a lot, you did all those plantings 2 and 4 years ago, 6 years ago with augers. What's
Yes.
the difference?
Well, up there you actually had to then measure out and mark, so when you wanted to auger them, you had your marks predetermined on the ground, where here we just really measured off the fence and just one, so it was one rip line that done the whole lot. So then it's only, so this is a far quicker process than trying to auger each individual hole, and we're thinking that the root expansion will be a lot better in when it's strip ripped. So a lot quicker and a lot more easier, and the moisture content that's absorbed between each tree once it does rain is a lot more than just an augered hole. Yes.
You got these guards from our project, didn't you?
We did.
And then these bamboo stakes.
No, well, we needed that to slow the rabbits and the hares down from actually chewing the small seedlings, because these were, if you can imagine, were only a 6-inch seedling when they came here, and some are done better than others, but no, you definitely do need guards on anything that small to begin with, and no, they're great, so we do. We thank you very much.
Right, so how many have you got down here, down this row?
This was 200. The first lot of planting we did was 200 down to the corner, and then there's another, I think, 100 after that. So we've planted.
So that's 6 every 6 metres.
Yes.
So you've got 2 every 6 metres for 200 metres. So what's the maths on that?
Oh, I'm not sure, mate. And some of the distances will be a little bit different, but there's 300 chinchilla white gums planted between here and the road. Yeah. So we'll see how they do down in this soil type, and because we'd like to do some more planting. Well, we're going to plant trees every year, and it's really trying to match up the suitability of the tree to the soil type. So if they do well here, we'll plant some more. If not, we'll change it up and we'll see what actually does work.